Cisco Certified Network Associate Day 51. Welcome back everyone. I'm Imran, your trainer for this entire series. Today we're going to look at EIGRP Troubleshooting, and what we're going to do is we will download a lab. So I will give you a link. You can go to our website and download a troubleshooting lab, and then we will do the troubleshooting together. Before we go ahead, don't forget to click on that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when we add a new video. And also, please click on that thumbs up to make us very happy. If you want our social media contact, that's on the screen. On the left, you have our company contacts. On the right, you have my personal contact. And for people who want my email address, it is imran.rafai@nwking.org. So what are we going to look at today? Today, like I said, we are still in 2.6. 2.6 is configure, verify and troubleshoot EIGRP. So this time we will be looking at the troubleshoot part of EIGRP. Now, before we come here, what I would suggest is go to our website. The link for the lab is going to be on the description, but click on shop, then go to, you could do here, you could just say sort by latest, and the first one, which is day 51 EIGRP troubleshooting. So at the moment this is the latest, but let's say after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months you come, it may not be the latest one, right? But you know, EIGRP troubleshooting, once you click on that, you come to this link, and this link I will put on the description, so you can click on the description and download. So click add to cart, view cart, and you can go ahead and proceed to checkout. So once that's done, you will have the download. So let's log in. Now I will proceed to checkout, and it's asking me for all this information. I can obviously you will not see this, but you can put your information here. Click on place order. Once place order is done, obviously there's an order number that gets generated and all that. At this stage, a lot of people send me emails asking where is the download. This is the download button. Download, it's here. Download, it's a big blue button. Just click on that button and you can download whatever you purchased, right? So once you do this, click on that and let's open it. You can double click and it will open. Pick Cisco Packet Tracer. Now this is going to be our lab, and this lab I configured this lab, and I'm sure I introduced a lot of troubleshooting configuration. So basically I must have configured it wrong, but I don't remember because I did this lab about 3 or 4 months ago, and because of other things that came up, I couldn't complete this video. So I don't know what troubleshooting I have introduced in this lab. So let's try to troubleshoot. So the aim of this lab is the 3 PCs, PC1, PC2 and PC3 should be able to ping each other. So let's go ahead and see if that's happening at the moment. So when I click on PC1, I can go to desktop command, and what's the IP address? It's ping. The IP address for PC2 is 10.1.20.20. So when I click on when I try pinging, it doesn't work. Let's see if it can ping 30.30, which is PC3. It cannot ping PC3 as well. The same thing should apply to the others. So let's try from PC2, ping 10.1.10.10. It's destination host unreachable, and you know what is destination host unreachable. That means there is no routing table entry. Let's try 30.30. Exactly the same thing. So let's try PC3 now. PC3, the same thing, ping 10.1.10.10, destination host unreachable. Let us try ping 10.1.20.20. It is the same destination host unreachable. So We'll find out why it is not working, and it ideally should be configured with EIGRP. So that's something we would be looking at. This is a troubleshooting lab. So we have 3 offices, so Bangalore office, Boston office, and Paris office, and they're connected to each other, and EIGRP is running. So now let's go to router 1 and let's see what's happening. So let me, okay, right. So show IP EIGRP. First, let's see if EIGRP is configured on this. So show run, I think here begin EIGRP. So IP EIGRP, yes, there is IP EIGRP configured. Okay, and let's try that in all 3, so we have some understanding of if EIGRP has been configured. So show run begin EIGRP, and we see EIGRP is configured. Let's see here, show run begin EIGRP, and EIGRP is configured, right? Perfect. So EIGRP is configured on all 3, but for some reason it is not creating. Let's also go check the show IP route. So we see EIGRP is advertising D is EIGRP, so it's learned some route through EIGRP, but I see that it is a summary route here and null 0. So null 0, if you remember last time we said that if you do auto summarization, what happens is a router would start summarizing the whole thing. Depending on how summarization is configured, it is going to summarize. So in this case, it has summarized the whole block of 10.0.0.0, whereas a lot of networks, subnets on that, it is not part of 10.0.0.0. So to prevent loops, almost all the routing protocols introduce a concept called null 0. All right, to understand null 0, what we'll do is we will show you an example. So let's say there's a router 1, and then there is router 2, and there is the internet, right? Now what we do is normally from router 1 we, let's say, have a default route. So let's say I'll take another color. Let's say there is a default route, so it says default route go to R1, so to R2. So R1 says if you don't know a certain route, send everything back to R2, because R2 is connected to the internet. So if you don't know something, ideally it should go to R2, and R2 will send it to the internet, right? So that's what happens. Now let's assume R1 does summarization, right? If R1 is doing summarization, when R1 sends let's say there are networks. So let me take another color. Let's say there are two networks. So let's say, for instance, 10.1.1.0/24, 10.1.2.0/24. Now these 2 networks are connected to R2, but at R2 for some reason we do auto summarization, right? Summarization is enabled. So what it does send and we're running EIGRP, and over EIGRP summarization is enabled. Then we would send a summary route to 10.0.0.0/24 /8, right? /8. A whole summary route for class A is sent to router 2, pointing to router 1. Now when a traffic comes to 10.0.0, like for instance R1 has sent the summary route to R2. Now R2's routing table points this summary route to R1, right? So let's say if there is traffic that is coming to 10.1.3.0 network, R2 would say, yes, I see there is a summary route, 10.0.0.0, that is an R1. So what happens is, any traffic that is coming to R2 going to 10.1.3.0, R2 would send it to R1, and R1 would look at its routing table and see 10.1.1.0 I have, 10.1.2.0 I have, but now you're asking for 10.1.3.0 and I don't have that way. But I have a default route configured that if I don't know anything, I will send it to R2. Now what R1 would do, R1 would send that traffic back to R2, R2 would go back to R1, and this will go on a loop. The loop will continue until the TTL value goes to 0. So there is a routing loop that gets created because of summarization. This is a problem. To prevent this, every time R1 or any device in a routing protocol, whenever it creates a summarization, it would create a null 0, right? So it would point that summary to null 0 by default. So if you go back, we see that when you see null 0, that's your clue number 1. Clue number 1 is there's some sort of summarization that's happened there. It could be an auto summarization or it could be manual summarization. Some summarization has happened. Now, because null 0 is here, I know our router 1 is the one who did the summarization, because router 1 has advertised this summary route to its neighbors, and when it advertised that, it created a null 0. So you see this, it says 10.1.0.0.0/8 is a summary route and it is pointing to null 0. That means if at all there is a specific route, in this case 10.1.10.0 is specific, it is part of the summary, but that's specific, that it tells you where it goes. So if at all there are more specific routes, 10.1.2.0, 3.0, 5.0, 10.0, whatever, specific routes would get added. But if at all it's not listed in that, then this router says, you know what, I'm going to send it to null 0. And let's assume null 0 is the black hole, right? We now recently there was a black hole photo. So let's consider null 0 to be the black hole. If at all it is not there, right? If I know I'm the one who created this black hole, so if at all there is no specific route to a certain network, that means I'm going to send all of them to the junkyard or to the black hole, which is going to like kill the traffic there. So that's a route prevention mechanism for a dynamic routing protocol, and it is done by OSPF, EIGRP, everybody does that. Right? So now I see there is a null 0 here, so I know this device has done summarization, right? Now I'm not saying summarization is the reason why this PC1 to PC2, PC3 is not pinging each other. So at the moment we'll not do anything with the summarization, but we know that there is some sort of summarization has happened, right? So let's do this. Now let's see if they're forming neighbors, because I can't see any of them with the routing protocol, any of the routes being updated. So let's go to all the devices and do again the same thing. Show IP route, show IP route. Now R2, okay, R2 also see R2 doesn't have null 0, so R2 has not done any summarization. That's why there's no null 0 in R2. And let's see R3, show IP route, and we see there is D, so there's some sort of summarization happened in EIGRP. That's why it says D. So in EIGRP, some sort of summarization is happening in router 1 and router 3. Now we don't know if summarization is the cause of the device not being able to ping each other, so we're not going to do anything with that at the moment. We'll see why. We'll see if any show IP EIGRP neighbors. Okay, let's do interface. Let's see. Okay, so we see gigabit G0/0 and SZ3. So let's see the, okay. So router 3, which is router 3? Okay, I can see now there is red light, but in real life you won't be able to see red light. So we're not going to look at the red light and do deductions of what could be wrong. So we'll try to see here. We see EIGRP is working on 0301 serial 031. So I think this is this interface and not that. So show IP interface brief, and we see this is in fact down, right? It is down. It's not administratively down. That means there's no problem this side. Let's go here to router 1, show IP interface brief, and we see this has been administratively put down. So that is one of the reasons why there is no EIGRP that's working on that. So let's do this. Let's go solve this problem first. Technically, as per our diagram, this should be creating neighbors, right? This is part of the neighbors, so it's not happening. So it is not connected. It's administered down. So for some reason, somebody is maybe by mistake hit that shutdown command. We don't know what it is, but let's go solve that now. Conf terminal interface serial 0/3/0 no shut, right? So I have enabled that interface, and now this interface will start configuring. And okay, because we saw that EIGRP was already configured on all the 3 devices, so now they're starting to form neighbors. So let's do this. Show IP EIGRP. Again, let's try interfaces here. Okay, so we see that 0, 0. So this is router 1. So router 1, this interface, this device has become a neighbor, right? We can also check show IP EIGRP neighbors, and we see that on the interface 13.3. So 13.3 is this. There is a neighbor, right? So there's a neighbor, and 13.3 is a neighbor. Why is neighborship not being formed here? So that's something. So we see that EIGRP is configured on that. So let's say in interface, if you see, this is also an interface. So this interface is also participating in EIGRP. For some reason, they're not forming neighborship, right? So let's do this. Show IP protocols. So this is one of the commands that you should check. So when you hit this, you'll get a top level view of all the protocols that's running on this device. So you see show IP protocols. Routing protocol is EIGRP 1, AS1, right? So let's also look at 1 and 2, right? So let's look at 2. Let's see what's happening at 2. Okay, let's give the same command, show IP protocols. Okay, and where's 1? Okay, 1 and 3. Sorry, 1 and 2. Okay, see. So this is EIGRP 1. Okay, this can go back here, and this can go here. This is EIGRP 1, this is EIGRP 10. This is working in AS10, and this is AS1. So like we know, the AS should match for them to form neighbors. So that is the reason why they're not forming neighbors. Another reason why neighborship may not be formed, or they may not do neighborship, or could be if the K values are different. So in this case, K1, K2, K3, K4, K5 is 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. But like I said, CCNA level, you're not going to go into that level. So most probably this would not be a troubleshooting task for you. So, but just to be aware, it should be the same. So 1, 0, 1, 0, 0 should be the one. If there is any authentication that's happening between the 2 devices, that also could be the same. If they're not, if the authentication type and authentication passwords are not matching, that could be one of the reasons why it is not working. But again, authentication is also not part of your CCNA, so I'm not going to get in there. So what else is different? Here summarization is disabled, summarization is enabled. Like I said, summarization is not going to create problems, at least not directly, and maybe I don't know, but at the moment it shouldn't create neighborship problems. So this is EIGRP 1, and since router 3 is also EIGRP 1, because router 1 and router 3 is forming EIGRP 1, I think the problem is going to be with EIGRP 10, because other two are EIGRP 1. So let's go and change this to EIGRP 1. So what do we do? Show run begin EIGRP, and I'm going to copy these commands because the network command is the same. I will go into global config mode. So configure terminal, no router EIGRP 10, and I can say router EIGRP 1, and then I can copy these commands, or rather paste these commands. Immediately the neighborship has come on, so I think that was the mistake. Show IP EIGRP neighbors, and I can see there are two neighbors now. So show IP EIGRP neighbors, and there are two commands. So let's see, now that they've become neighbors, let's see what happens. Show IP route. Okay, I can see router 1 has 10 and 20. Shouldn't it also have 30? Route 30, it's not getting 30. Okay, let's see what happens here. Show IP route. Router 2's got 10.20, and why is it not getting 10.10? Right, so basically, okay, router 20, this is by himself, right? Router 20. Router 10 is coming. Okay, now this is okay. Now see, EIGRP, the summarization is creating trouble. I'll tell you how. You can see there is load balancing that's happening, right? There's load balancing that's happening because this device, summarization is happening here, summarization is happening here, right? Because this device is doing summarization, this device is doing summarization. So this device has a network 10.1.30.0 and he's summarizing 10.0.0.0. He has got only 10.1.10.0 and he's summarizing 10.0.0. So router 2 is getting 10.0.0/8 summarization via 12.1. 12.1 is this, and 23.3, which is this. So he's getting summarization on this, and there is load balancing happening. Now if load balancing is happening, it's going to be very interesting. So let's do this. Let's say ping 10.1.10.0, right, 10.10, right? This is 10.10 and this is 30.30. So let's do ping 10.1.10.10, and we see there is reply coming, and then it's going destination host unreachable, then reply coming and destination host unreachable. Now this is interesting because when packet comes here, like because there's load balancing, one is going to be sent here, one is going to be sent here, one is going to, so alternatively between these two links. So when the first link is being sent, I'm pinging to 10.1.10.10, right? So when the first packet goes here, of course there is 10.1.10.10 and it is coming back, reply is coming back. The second time when I send here, it comes here, it says I have no idea who is 10.1.10.10. So what happens, I'm going to send it to, who am I going to send it to? Let's do this. Show IP route. I know 10.1. So let's say this packet is coming from 10.1.10.10, right? There's no 10.10. He has no idea who 10.10 is, but he knows there is a summary address which goes to a null 0. That means he's saying, you're asking for 10.1.10.10. I don't know who it is, but I know that this is going to null because I am going to do a loop prevention for whatever reason, because that's a summary that I gave you, right? So it's going to put it to null and then you'll not. So alternatively, if you go here, alternatively it is going to ping. So the same thing should happen to 30.30 as well. So if you try 30.30, It's going to ping once, it's going to be destination host unreachable, destination hole and ping, right? So that's the interesting bit. And yes, auto summary is, in fact, in this case, auto summary is creating trouble for us. So let's go back here and remove our auto summary. So let's go here, configure terminal, router EIGRP1, no auto summary. Let's do the same thing for router 3. Configure terminal, router EIGRP1, no auto summary, right? Now let's see what happens. So let's do this 10.1.10.10. It is pinging perfectly, and 10.1.30.30 it is perfectly pinging. Now let's go here and let's do show IP route. And now we see 10.1.10.0, 20.0 and 30.0, where 20.0 is directly connected, obviously. 10.0 and 30.0, that is this network, and this network has been advertised by EIGRP, and now it knows how to communicate. So now all the devices should be able to ping each other. Ping 10.1.20.20, that's pinging. And of course 10.10 should work now, and that's also perfect, right? So I think now all the three devices should be pinging each other. So let's do the same thing here, 30.30, 20.20, it is pinging, right? So this is very, very simple. Let's go back to our slides. So ideally, when you're doing troubleshooting, the first thing is going to be, before you do all this, I would say the first thing is going to be physical connection. You need, now in this case there was a physical connection, so you need to look at the physical connections. Is there a shutdown? Is there physically, are all these devices talking to each other, right? That's your first number one troubleshooting. You have to check physical connection. Once you do physical connection, you can give one command, show IP protocols, that is going to give you a broad overview of the device and all the protocols that's running. So you have an idea. So we could immediately see that there was a problem because EIGRP1 and EIGRP10 were different AS numbers and they had to be changed. So that's one way. You can also go into these commands that we tried, show IP EIGRP interface, show IP EIGRP neighbor, show IP EIGRP topology. So we can try these commands, and you know what you see in interface. You will see what are the interfaces that's working on EIGRP. When you do show IP EIGRP neighbors, let's quickly put those commands here so that we see it. Right. So let's do this. Show IP EIGRP interfaces. We did this in our previous video, but I'm going to just quickly check. So this will give you our neighbors. So we see that these are the three interfaces that's working on EIGRP, and these are the two interfaces that has neighbors. Show IP EIGRP neighbors. So we can do that neighbors, and we see these are the two neighbors that we have. And of course we have all this information which was explained in the last video, so you can always go there and check. Show IP EIGRP topology, which will give us our FDs and feasible successors and all that information is here. So these are the three troubleshooting commands, but like I said, the first thing is always to check for physical connections. And you also know what null zero is. So null zero is a loop prevention technique. And loop prevention is going to happen because of the summarization. So to prevent that, there is a concept called null zero, and whenever you see null zero, you need to know that there is some sort of summarization that has happened. Not always summarization is going to be a problem, but if you understand what summarization is, you could understand how it could be a problem, right? So depending on your situation, maybe it is a problem. So that's null zero. This is a short video. Quickly, we wanted to just come and finish the topic. So EIGRP is done. Now we will be getting into much more interesting topics. So stay tuned, and we will see you very, 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 very soon. So till then, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit on that bell icon, and don't forget to like this video. See you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.